Logan was born in South Carolina. She lived with both of her parents for a little while, and there was a lot of conflict and domestic violence and substance use that she saw. Her biological mom got to the place that she couldn't care for Logan for a period of time, so she had asked her sister out here in Colorado to take Logan short term. Then the CPS system within South Carolina reached out to say, hey, it's not safe for Logan to come back.
I was able to get the emergency guardianship. And so when I told Logan about it, I think she kind of felt like, whoa, what's happening? I don't understand. She started to get angry, but not to the extent of what would come.
It was everybody else doing things to me, not, okay, maybe I shouldn't be this angry and maybe this isn't normal. It was more like, well, they're doing this to me, so this is like I'm gonna be angry.
She started off just being angry. She started off self-harming. She would go to school, threaten to blow up the school. She would go from 0 to 1,000 with no ability to talk off a cliff. I mean, she was just full force. I think she probably in total was in the ER maybe 13, 14 times. She's been in 8 or 9 actual facilities. She would go into school. She would threaten to drink whatever chemical they would have there. She was in class and she would go and try to hurt herself while she was in class.
I really lost trust with Logan is when she started stealing my stuff. She took my medication and like the highest dosage of medicine that she could take. And just, you know, things that she would steal from the house. We were afraid that she was gonna hurt herself with the kitchen utensils. At some point when she was in and out of hospitals and she'd come back to the house, we finally took the doors off the hinges so that she couldn't close herself in a room and hurt herself.
Coming to Third Eye was kind of a last resort. It was just kind of realizing that either you do this or you continue down this road and whatever bad happens, happens. So there was a lot of like anger and confusion and sadness and not knowing why I was the way I was.
I don't think she believed that if she came here, that in a couple weeks she wouldn't be out again. And I told her, they're assuring me that you're here. You're here for as long as it takes. And I threw all of my trust into Third Eye.
Logan was very angry when she first came. She didn't want to trust anybody. She didn't want to open up. She was extremely defensive and she didn't want to be there. When you've been to other places before, you've had other treatment interventions that haven't worked, it's completely valid to think this isn't going to work either. I'm just going to do what I can to get out of here. And that was definitely her mindset.
I don't think I realized at that point that the only way to get out of here was change myself. So I was really just like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here.
Logan was diagnosed with PTSD and ADHD. She really struggled to tolerate her emotions in response to feeling unsafe or unsupported or neglected. And that was a huge trauma response for her. While she was there, we learned that she had been born premature, and that was a major contributor to a lot of her cognitive problems that led to, you know, just the impulsivity, problems making decisions, problem anticipating consequences, anticipating risks, planning, time management. So I think once we learned the truth of where that problem came from, it really got us to a place where she could start doing a lot more of the therapy. She had a lot to be angry about, and trauma-wise, she had very valid reasons to be angry about the way that her life had gone. But she had a really hard time sorting through that and putting that anger on the right people. So it just kind of came out on everyone around her.
I mean, everything kind of followed me anywhere I went, because I was just constantly in that state, which I think is why things really got to that point where you kind of have 2 options, you know, because there was no break from it. It was just firing on all cylinders all the time.
Before we really had her stabilized and really understood her diagnosis and her history well enough, there were a couple different incidents of her running away, which were really scary, including one resulting in an overdose and one resulting in a sexual assault.
There was a guy, I don't know, I ended up at his place. He did drugs, so then by proxy, I did drugs, and I don't even remember all the stuff I took. He said we were doing meth, and then he had a bag of antidepressants next to his bed, so I was taking those. He was gonna leave me at the bus stop, but we went into a store first, and he bought me a Sprite, and somehow I ended up with NyQuil thinking it was cough syrup. And I put the NyQuil in the Sprite and I chugged it, and I was walking down the street because he had left, and I'm hallucinating and I'm out of my mind. And I remember I was in some sort of park or something, and I remember laying down and then it going black.
I couldn't understand why she was doing this to herself. I couldn't understand why she wouldn't just stop. Because I constantly would say, you're at a crossroad right now. You're either gonna go like your parents or you're gonna go something different. I was at a complete loss.
So I AWOL'd with another kid from Lowry, and we went to the skate park, and he eventually said he wanted to go back to Lowry, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna stay here. And eventually this guy and his friends come over. I'm a 13-year-old who had already been smoking weed at the skate park. And he was eventually like, well, you know, if you're a runaway, you're gonna skip the skate park, just come home with me. So me and his friends get in the car and we're driving back to his apartment, and it was fine for the first however long. But we were drinking, we were smoking. I remember I couldn't walk. And it was kind of like being half carried and half dragged to the bedroom. I laid down and I faced the wall, and I just tried to not rationalize what was going on, but kind of ignore it.
She had to go to court. She had to do a victim statement, and she had the support of Kristen the whole time. I am screaming. I'm screaming. I don't trust anything. I don't trust anybody around her. All I want to do is protect her, and there's Kristen. Kristen was this one person that just always remained that common rock for her.
When Logan was at York, she was engaging in the process of having to identify and testify against the person who had assaulted her. That's, I think, when she got to see that justice is possible. She was really young and vulnerable, but she got the opportunity to speak the truth of what happened to her, her feelings about it, and stand up for herself and say, this is not okay. A big part of being placed at Third Way Center is that you want to have better coping mechanisms and healthier ways of approaching problems in your life, and the behaviors go away. Ultimately, this is the whole goal. So when kids are safe and they can communicate their feelings and their needs, and they can reintegrate in their family, and their family's ready for it too, that's when we can say, all right, it's time.
Once I was able to figure out that maybe I was the problem, it was a lot easier to sit through, because I could be like, okay, maybe they're not just doing this because they're doing this, maybe I'm contributing to this. And then once I take myself out of that whole equation, it's like, oh, like, this is so much easier. I attribute a lot of my emotional regulation to finding not only the right therapy methods, but the right medications. I also had therapy with my birth mom, which was eye-opening, because you definitely see a lot of the denial and the just sheer inability to understand. And I think now I just know that I need to distance myself from that, because it's not going to do anything. I realize that I have to do this whole treatment thing because no one else is going to do this for me.
I saw the light go on. I saw her really start to have a strong sense of self-worth, and that there's nothing that can replace that. She had a ton of brilliance and insight and motivation to do good in the world, and I think the whole team here just wanted her to be able to bring that into the world in her own way. We really wanted her to be able to reintegrate back into the family, so that comes with navigating the conflict of what had happened. prior to her placement with us and helping them be able to reintegrate her back home.
She's doing well. She's come a long way. I can say that she is on a better path, and I think she knows she's on a better path. I think she just needs that confidence to keep her staying on that path.
Our life now is a lot more enjoyable. There's a lot more light. There's a lot more opportunity for her to have a normal life. For the longest time, I didn't trust her. She couldn't have a computer. She couldn't have a cell phone. She couldn't do anything. Now she has a cell phone. Now we just gave her a car. She has a permit. She is a 4.3 grade average at school. She has maintained her national honor roll. She is going to go to college. She's all of these things that she never, ever, ever talked about before, she's now doing. And I support her. I want her to have the best that world can give her. She went to prom. She went to homecoming. She just found out yesterday that she's going to be on the senior committee. So I want her to be a part of the senior things that all seniors do.
Logan really built her own success. She fought through every single step of the way. She took the challenges as they came. She advocated for herself. At a certain point, she decided, I want differently for my life than what's been done before, and I'm gonna make it happen.